The Anunnaki created men as a servant. Period and point blank. The Anunnaki created males as a servant. What was their job? Well, they were here to mine the gold. That was the reason why they were created, to be servants to mine the gold. As a matter of fact, if you go and read the Book of Enki, what you're going to get is you're going to hear Enlil, which is the other brother who hated the idea of the humans. You're going to hear him say, we're not supposed to be creating servants. That's against the law. Universal laws is what he was talking about. He's like, you're going to get us in trouble creating these servants because we're not supposed to do that by law. Enki was like, no, it's okay. It's going to be okay, bro. And what ended up happening, you remember when in the Bible it talks about how Adam and Eve was hiding themselves in the garden, and they was like, "Ooh, here come God. We naked." And God and God of the Bible is saying, really, that was Enlil. That was Enlil saying, Enki, what is wrong with Adam and Eve? What are they doing? Why are they hiding, talking about they naked? What you do, Enki? So pay attention to this and watch what happened. When Adam and Eve got that infusion of stem cells in them from the Anunnaki, they became more aware of self. They became more knowledgeable. They became more closer to the Anunnaki. And this upset Enlil, who didn't like the idea of the humans in the first place. And he says, when he asked, because Enki had to kind of, see, look here, let me tell you what happened, bro. See, what had happened was I saw them they was in the garden, they was having sex, but they wasn't procreating. So we had to add just a little bit more of our DNA. And Enlil went off. Enlil went off. He was like, what are you doing, Enki? And Enlil was upset with Enki because his whole thing was, you're going to give them all of our essence. You want them to have the same knowledge, Enki? You want them to have our longevity of life, Enki? You want them to be as intelligent? You want them to be equal to us. That's what you're doing. You keep putting all, you told me, you said, Enki, you started this, you said, all I need is a little bit of our DNA. It's going to go in here, and then once we have that DNA, that's all we need. But you keep putting more and more of our DNA in them. You're trying to make them equal to us, Enki. What are you doing? If you read the Bible, you're going to see that. Where the gods didn't want the humans to be equal to them. That was an issue. When you read the Book of Enki, it becomes clear. When you read the Book of Jasher, you get some more clarity. You have to read. You cannot depend on artificial. So the whole deal is that Enki or Enlil didn't want Enki to put too much DNA into the humans because they didn't want them to be equal, because once you have somebody who has knowledge of self, like Lilith, you can't make them a slave. I'm going to say this again. Once you have beings that have knowledge of self, like Lilith did, you can't make them a slave. And so here's Enki, he keeps putting more DNA into them to the point where now they realize they're naked. And Enlil is upset because you're making them too close to us. Remember to keep that bell on for notifications. Follow UNA Republic for more great information.